let's start with the first resume. Let me just see how to do it here. So just 1 second. The first resume I'm going to review is from Luana Santos. Luana Santos. So I don't know if Luana is here. Luana, if you are here, just say hi in the chat, Luana Santos. So everyone should be able to see the resume now. Can you just confirm if you see the resume? Luana, if you are here live, I'd love to see your hi in the chat. Okay, Luana Santos. This is the first resume I'm going to review. And remember, take notes of what I'm sharing, because even if you're not Luana Santos, there's only one Luana Santos, but to everyone else watching, what I'm going to share here about her resume will probably also be extremely helpful to you to improve your own resume. So go ahead, take pen and paper, write down and learn from it, okay? Luana Santos, that's the first resume I'm going to evaluate here. So Luana Santos, this is the first resume. I'm going to be looking down because I took some notes here just to make sure that I don't repeat the same comment. So every time I look down is because I'm looking to what I wrote here. Okay, first comment about Luana Santos' resume is that, look, this resume looks beautiful. I like the colors, I like the photo, I like that she used this one column that is gray and all of that. But it is beautiful, but it's not very practical, okay? When it comes to resume writing, it's not about being beautiful, being colorful, being creative, because this sometimes does not work. Most of the times, this kind of resume, like the one I'm sharing, they do not pass the applicant tracking system. What is that? ATS. The robots, the softwares that most of the times are behind any kind of website that you apply for a job. When you submit your resume through LinkedIn, through a company's website, through a job board, probably there is some kind of software behind what you see, right, behind the website, that will screen the resumes, that will filter resumes. And some of them do not read, for example, different colors, like the red that Luana used, the gray. Some of those ATS, applicant tracking system, do not read well different columns, okay? Her resume is divided into columns. So the recommendation is don't use that, because it looks beautiful to the human eyes, but it might not be effective to the robots, to the software, to the platforms that will filter the resume. So Luana, instead of caring about the layout, about the appearance of the resume, you should focus more on the content. Okay, so content over layout. Every time you're going to use your resume to apply through a website, through LinkedIn, or through the company's page. Luana, if you're going to send this resume to someone directly via email or on a LinkedIn chat, that's fine. It's okay, there is no problem. But if you're going to submit your resume through website, job board, or LinkedIn, it's better that you don't use different colors, different columns, colors, and photo on the resume. So PDF or Word format will work much better every time. Okay, this is the first comment. Second comment, second comment is about this initial part. So the initial part on the resume is where you should share the contact details, right? So she shared her phone number. It's good. So she shared 3 phone numbers. Maybe one would be fine, but okay. She shared 3 phone numbers. She shared her email. She shared if I click here, I will go to her LinkedIn profile. So this is fine. Maybe you want to add the link to it, but the comment here is like, don't forget to add the link to your LinkedIn profile. This is a mistake that I see happening very often among job seekers. They don't think that the link to the LinkedIn profile is important, but it is important, because when a recruiter receives your resume, the person will at some point, yes or yes, review your LinkedIn profile. If the person finds you on LinkedIn, at some point during the recruitment process, the recruiter will ask for your resume. So resume and LinkedIn profile, they always go together. So just make sure you add the link to your LinkedIn profile in your resume to make it easier for the recruiter to find you, to get all the information that they need from you, okay? And my third comment, okay, is about the number of pages on this resume. So if I scroll down here, there's the first page, then we have the second page, and we have the third page, right? So Luana's resume has 3 pages. What I like to suggest is to stick to 2 pages. Okay? 3 pages can be considered too long to some recruiters. Recruiters are busy, they have hundreds of resumes to check and all of that. So 3 pages, they might feel a bit like lazy to read all of that. And this is not the feeling that you want to generate on a recruiter, because you do want the person to read everything that you wrote, because you're going to optimize the way you write the resume. So 3 pages can be considered by a lot of recruiters as very long. So I will suggest that you stick to 2 pages. Okay, and then you might be thinking, oh, but I always heard about this 1-page resume. It's better to have only 1 page. It's mandatory. Look, it's not mandatory to have a 1-page resume. And I personally find it very difficult to narrow down, to summarize all the information in only 1 page, especially if you have like 10, 15, 20 years of experience. It's really hard to put it all in 1 page. So me personally, I don't like the 1-page resume only, because I have a hard time creating that, right? So it's perfectly fine if you use 2-page resume. There is no big deal about it. But 3 pages, like Luana did, that's already long. Don't go for 4-page resume, 5 page, 6 page. There is no point about it. So 2 pages is the ideal size of resume. Of course, you're going to need to narrow down. Of course, you probably won't be able to put all together in the same resume. I get it, and I will help you with that. But my suggestion, as an overall suggestion, is a 2-page resume. So we want to try to narrow down and eliminate 1 page of the resume. Okay. Those are my comments about Luana's resume. So Luana, I don't know if you are live here, if you want to say hi, if you want to share if it was helpful to you or not. Luana, if you are here, just just say hi in the chat. Luana Santos, right? That was the first resume. And I want to know, for the ones who were watching, if this was helpful to you, even if you're not the person I was reviewing the resume, please let me know in the chat if this was helpful, and if you learned something from it. Because as I said, be smart, and if you're here with me, make the most of your time and learn from everyone else's resume. So not only when I review yours, if I review yours, but also every resume that I'm giving feedback, because I received more resumes than I'll be able to review now. So we can learn from each other, and we can grow together. We support each other in the process. Milad is asking if he can still send the resume for review. No, Milad, I'm afraid not, because I already prepared for this session. As I shared here, I took notes about what I'm going to share, because I want to make sure I comment different things in each resume. So I'll need to study your resume before going live and reviewing it. So when I have a lot of resumes already, so I'm picking up from the ones who sent it in the previous days until this morning. Okay. Halima said it was helpful. I'm glad to read that. Thanks for the feedback. Comments are always helpful. Thanks, Matt. Very helpful suggestions. Thank you so much. Thank you, Adrienne. Let's go to the second resume. Let's go for it. It might be yours, so attention here. Before that, I just want to make you an invitation. So I want to invite you all to see if I put it live here. Yes, that's what I want to share. I want to invite you to get your phone and scan this QR code, okay, to join my VIP Telegram group. This is a group that I created to be closer to you, have an easier communication with you, and share some special gifts. I shared a lot of things for free already the past day. So if you're not there, you're missing good stuff already. I also shared some surprises, some special gifts, and special exclusive discounts to some of my programs. Okay, so there are a lot of new things coming up in the next few days. So if I were you, I would scan this QR code and go to the VIP group. I won't be talking about everything I'm going to share in the group here because that's exactly why I have the group. But I suggest that you scan the QR code and you join the VIP group. We're going to keep a closer conversation. I'm going to share a lot of useful things about how to land a remote job. So if you like this content, the feedback I'm giving about the resume, you're going to love what I prepared for you on the VIP group. So just scan the QR code with your phone and I will see you inside the VIP Telegram group. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the second resume that I'm gonna evaluate, review here live. So just a second. All right, so the second resume that I'm gonna share is from Christiane Valle. Christiane Valle. I don't know if Christiane is here. If you are, please say hi in the chat. Say hello. It's going to be nice to feel your energy here while I am reviewing your resume live. So Christiane Valle, that's the next resume I'm going to review. And as I said, remember, there is always something that you can learn and double check in your resume and improve it. So don't worry if you're not Christiane Valle, there's only one. But everyone else here should benefit from the comments and the feedback I'm going to give about this resume. Okay. So let me check my notes here. Let me see what I wrote about Christiane Valle. Okay. First comment here, Christiane. You started the resume with your name, which is the right way to start. So just put your name in bold, in a big letter to make it very clear who is sending that resume. So that's correct. Right after, on the second line of the resume, you wrote strategic events management. Then you use this horizontal bar. You wrote travel planner, different idea. Then you use the horizontal bar again. And not horizontal, vertical, sorry, the vertical bar. And then you shared the third idea, project management, right? My comment about it, Christiana, is you are sharing three very different job titles or areas of interest, okay? Being in a strategic event management is very different than being a travel planner, which is completely different than being a project manager. So when you share those three very different ideas at the top of your resume, as a recruiter, I feel confused about it. I don't really get what you want. Like, do you want a job as a travel planner? Do you want a job as a project management? Or are you more interested in strategic event management? So it's not clear. And what you want is to be very clear, always clear in your resume. So resume should not leave space for confusion, for misinterpretation, because that goes against you. If the recruiter doesn't really get, is she interested in a project management position or she wants something else? Probably the recruiter will just skip your resume and go for something else. So you want to make, be clear about the information you share on the resume. So on the second line of your resume, you should never mention three completely different job titles and areas and industries. So stick to one. Which one, Juliana? The one that you're applying for at that moment. Because I totally get, I get that as a job seeker, you might be considering travel planner jobs. You might also be applying for project manager jobs. That's fine. But when you write one resume is for one specific job. So you cannot mix project management, strategic event management, and all of that. So don't put three very different job titles on the resume because it's very confusing. The recruiter might think, if she doesn't know what she wants, I'm just gonna go for someone who knows better. So this is very confusing. I don't really get what you want. And as a recruiter, I would think like, I'll just go for someone who knows what they want. So attention to it, okay? Let me see. Okay, what I noticed overall, Christian, is that you used a very, very small font, like the size of the letter is very small along the whole document, right? And I guess the reason to do that is because you wanted to fit everything in one page. right? Because otherwise, with the amount of text you have here, it would not have fit in one page. And then you also use the columns here. So as I mentioned when I was reviewing the resume before, I personally don't recommend one-page resume because you need to put the size of the letter, the font, very small. It's not comfortable to read. I was like, can't really read that. It's hard for the eyes. Makes me lazy because I have to make an extra effort to read what you wrote. And also, you also made a mistake of 2 columns, as I mentioned on the previous resume. Not all the applicant tracking systems, not all the ATS, the robots, the platforms that filters the resumes, not all of them read well columns. So instead of using such a small size of letter font, I suggest that you go for a second page resume. 2 pages is perfectly fine, and then you use a font that is like, I don't know, 11 I think would be the minimum. 11, 12 would be a better size for the text. So make it easier for the recruiter to read, with some spaces in the between, maybe some capital letters, some bold and all of that, but not a super small font, because I feel lazy just when I see it. It's like, oh, I have to read all of that. So remember, recruiters are busy. They are reviewing a lot of resumes and fast. So you want to make the text easy to be read, because that increases the chance that the person will actually read it instead of just skipping it because I feel lazy to read that, and then go to another resume. Okay. The other comment about Christiana's resume is about the career highlights. She called it career highlights, could be also named experience, right? That part of the resume that you're going to talk more in details about your current job and the job that you had before. So this is a very important part. Everybody that I will review the resume had an experience part or career highlights. So everyone has to talk about their previous experience and their current experience on the resume. But of course, there are different ways to talk about your work experience. And I'm going to pick up this example here, the event manager, right? That Christiana worked as a self-employed from 2009 until 2022, until last year, right? The thing here is that she mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet points, which could be fine. But I felt, Christiana, that you were still very superficial on the way you described what you described. So for example, this example, track records of orchestrating and managing multiply events simultaneously. When you say multiply events, I don't know if you're talking about 2, if you're talking about 20, if you're talking about 30. So instead of just saying, I was managing a lot of events simultaneously, mention a number. Give me a better idea of how many events you're managing. If you want to go even further, which I suggest, you can say events up to 200 people, for example. So I can imagine how many simultaneous events you are doing, how many people in each event, and it gives me a completely different perception of what you're doing. So when you are talking about the jobs you did or the job you're doing now, the more details you share, the better. This is not about just describing what you did. It's adding the information that gives me a better idea, that helps to sell you better as a candidate. So let me pick up another example. Okay, this one. Developed strong negotiation and positive relationship building skills. Why do you think that the relationships were positive? Based on what do you say that? Like, can you demonstrate that they were positive relationships? How do you know they were positive relationships? Well, I was making cold calls and I was converting more than 80% of the people. Okay, so it looks like the relationships you're building were resulting into people buying your services or, join your events or something like that. But if you just say positive relationships, building skills, it's like it's very fluffy. It doesn't really tell much. So instead of just mentioning the thing, I invite you to go one step deeper and whatever is possible, mention numbers and percentage to demonstrate what you're saying that you did. Okay. Like here, is stronger knowledge of budgets. For what kind of budget? 1 million budget, 20,000 million budgets, 500,000 budget. Give more details, be more specific, because that adds value to you, and it gives the recruiter a better understanding of the complexity of the things you do. So for everyone else watching, the more specific you can be when you talk about your work experience, the better. And if you can still add numbers and percentage to make it more visual, to make it more clear, much, much better. Okay. So those are my comments about Cristiane Valle's resume. So Cristiane, are you there? Are you live here? If you are, please say, oh, you are. Yes, I see you here. Hi, Cristiane. Makes totally sense. Nice. I'm glad you're here. Sorry that I'm being very strict, very hard. The resume is very well written, so it took me a while to find something to comment. But anyways, that's what I'm here for, right? So it's about refining, small details that will make a difference and will help you to, fingers crossed, land the remote job you want faster. Okay. Oh, we have Jaycee Bet. Hi, Jaycee. Hashid, nice to see you all here. So, right. So, Cristiane, I hope it was helpful to you. I hope you can implement those small changes also. And we are going to go for the third resume review. But before that, I want to share one thing with you. You are here because you want to land a remote job, right? I get that. I'm here to help you with that. And once you land a remote job, you will probably start traveling more, right? That's what I'm assuming. Even if you work from home, traveling and working from different places is something that you can do when you work remotely. And once you start traveling more, you should pay attention to things that can happen when you travel. So travel insurance is something that every single remote work should pay attention. I travel and work from different countries, and I have travel insurance because, I don't want to be negative, but you never know what's going to happen. So there is one company that I want to mention to you for you to check called SafetyWing. SafetyWing is a consolidated international insurance company that they have different packets, different options depending on your age, depending on where you are traveling to, depending on your situation, but they will cover you in case you have any emergency, any accident. I hope you don't, but we never know those things. And I know that when you start your new remote job, you will have more flexibility, more freedom. So you're going to be able to travel more. A lot of people who come talk to me, they're like, oh, I wish I could travel and work at the same time. It's amazing, but make sure that you have travel insurance because you don't want to risk your own life. You're healthy. You don't want to have problems on the road. So get a remote job. I'll help you with that. Then consider some travel insurance. Check the options that are available. Go for the one that suits you more. So I will share on the link here in the comments, the link to SafetyWing. You can click there. You can click now. Leave it open, so stay with me here in the live, but after that you can check SafetyWings and see what option suits you better. So I highly recommend that you protect your career, landing a remote job, and that you protect your life, your health. So you don't need to worry about it. Just let them take care of you in case you need some medical assistance. Okay, so I'm leaving the link in the comments. In the meantime, if you have any questions, any comments, please use the chat for that. Hi, Obike, nice to see you here. Matthew is saying, I have a related question. In my case, I have multiple job titles, but in the same general field. Should I still break them up into individual resumes? Well, Matt, depend on the position, on the job you're applying for. If you're applying for a project manager, you can talk only or mainly about the project manager positions, and you can summarize in some part of your resume saying something like related work experience, and then you give a summary, an overview of the other experience. But remember, if you're applying for one kind of job, you should talk about your experience related to that specific job, even if you have experience that is related to it. But try to narrow down as much as possible to the job you're applying for. It's going to be less confusing to the recruiter. Okay. Let's go to the third resume. Who is ready for the third resume? Let me know in the chat. Ready? Write ready in the chat if you're ready for the third resume. If it wasn't off, I can stop here. I can keep going, but I want to check if you want me to to keep reviewing the resumes. So please send me some feedback. Are you enjoying? Is this live helpful? Do you want me to keep going? I have more stuff to share, but I just want to see if you are still interested, if you still want to see more What if you had enough already? So let me know if I should go for my third resume review of the day. Ready? Stacy's ready. So that's it. Stacy, that goes for you because you're the one who answered that. Okay. One more question here. What if you want to pivot to a different job title, like going from product development to project management? Well, that's a different strategy, but you want to talk about the job you want to get, not necessarily the job you had. And you should emphasize on the transferable skills, the experience and the skills you had in the past that you can use in the new job, the new position that you want to get. Okay, everybody's ready. Amazing. Now, oh, actually, Candice, that's your resume. Yes, that I have here. Wow, what a coincidence. She asked about the pivoting career, and I will actually review her resume now. So let me see how I do that. So let me share that. Candice Padro. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it properly, but I have your resume here in the line. You're the next one. That's amazing. So I know that you're here. Nice. Let me see if I'm sharing here. Yes. All right. Candice Paro. Let's do this. Nice. So let me see what I wrote here. The expertise. Okay, amazing. So I'm gonna start talking about this part here of the resume, the expertise. Okay, some people call this section skills. Also, I have seen also like career highlights. So the name you call this part is not the most important thing. I just want to talk about this block of information, this part here. Okay, this area that sorry, let me see if I can mark it properly here. Yes, this part. So this is the part that you make a list of different skills, right? Different specialities that you have, ideas that you want to highlight in your resume. What I see very often is that job seekers do that normally, just like Candice did, 2 or even 3 different columns, okay? If you're paying attention since the beginning, you probably notice that I will not suggest you to use columns on the resume, right? Remember, I mentioned that a few times already. Why not use columns? Like this is one column, side like half of the paper, and then this is the other column, right? The other half of the paper. I will not recommend you to use that because, as I mentioned before, some of the softwares that filters resumes, the applicant tracking system, that's the technical name, or ATS, that's the short version, ATS, some of them, they don't read properly different columns on the document. You will never know which kind of software that specific company is using. So my suggestion is like, better safe than sorry. You know that saying? Just don't use columns because then you're safer. And whatever you write in a full text, like from bottom, from the top until the bottom, the program, the software will understand that properly. So don't use 2 columns. This is the first thing. But also, I don't really see the value of just listing a lot of things like project management, project implementation, product life cycle management, revenue and profit growth. You are almost like throwing up all those things on the paper without context, without details, without much information. So it's very easy to write change management. But at the same time, if you think about it, it's kind of empty because it's like, what have you done related to change management? Where, what was the impact? What was the result? Were you a change manager? Were you participating in a change management project? What was the impact for the company? How long it lasts? How was this project? It's very empty when you just throw on the paper things like process improvement. Of course, process improvement is important. I mean, I totally get it. But the way you put just like process improvement without any context, without any further detail, it gets a bit fluffy. It loses a bit the power. So my suggestion is that instead of using a long list of expertise or skills, that you try to find a better way in the resume to mention those things because they are probably important, but you give some context. You add more information, you add numbers and percentage, you share an example, you put it into a context. When I was a manager in that specific job, I was leading a team of X people, and I was also managing the vendors, for example. I was in charge of the process improvement of every new client, and so on and so on. But if you just throw on the paper the things, it gets a bit less value. Okay, this is the first comment for Candice. Checking here on my paper because, as I said, I took notes to share the best information with you in a shorter period of time. So let me see the second one. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back to this part here, the profile. Okay, profile. Some people call it summary. Some people call it career highlights or highlights. So pretty much is the second block of information that you should have in your resume. So Candice did it right. So first she mentioned, highlight here, this, yes. First she mentioned the contact details, her name, location, the phone number, email address, LinkedIn, URL, amazing. Then the second block of information is this one. This is extremely important. So if you don't have a profile or a summary or a career highlight or highlights in your resume, you should have that. Candice have it. She has it. Amazing. But the thing here, Candice, is that I found this profile a bit generic, a bit too vague. And let me show you why. Because you mentioned that you have experience and all of that, and then you said both in Fortune 500 companies and startup environments. When you say that, I get what you want to say, probably. I think I get, at least. So you want to show the diversity of variety that you have, because a startup company is very different in every way than a 500 Fortune company, right? They are almost opposite regarding size, stage of company, the process, the volume of budget, and the complexity of projects and all of that. So I understand, or I'm assuming that you want to show like I'm versatile. I have worked for smaller companies and bigger companies and all of that, which is nice. But if you are applying for a startup company, okay, if you mention that you have experience in Fortune 500 companies, they might think like, she will not get used to our way of work because we operate in a very different way than a Fortune 500 company. You see my point? And the other way around also, if you're applying for a more consolidated, older company, more established in the market, and you come up saying, hey, I have experience in a startup, they might think, I'm not sure she has the profile we are looking for. She doesn't have the mindset to work in a Fortune 500 company. So if you mention way too many things, very diverse experience, what you generate in the recruiter is doubt, confusion, because the person is like, does she prefer a startup or a more consolidated company? The recruiter will never know. So again, the resume should never leave space for confusion or doubts. You want to be straightforward. So Candice, if you are applying for a startup company, you can remove this part. You don't need to mention that you have experience in other kind of companies. You will mention that in the experience when you're talking about the job, each job, but not in the profile, not here, because this is a summary. This is the highlights of your experience. So you want as much as possible to match what you write here in the profile with what is a requirement in the job description. Okay. Same thing, for example, vendor coordination. If the job you're applying for list that you are going to be managing the vendors, you're going to be the contact point for vendors, cool, then you mention that here. But if the job description doesn't say once anything about vendor, so it will not be your responsibility, don't bother mentioning vendor management, vendor coordination, in the profile. This is noise, this is pollution, this is a very strategic part of your resume because it's on the top, it's at the very beginning. There is a high chance that recruiters will read that. I don't know if the recruiter will scroll down and go to read the last word on your resume, but probably the recruiter will read this part because it's the first page, it's the top part of the resume. So you want to make sure that everything you mention here in the profile or summary or career highlights or highlights is extremely important, not for me, not for you, for the company you're applying for the job description. And your guidance, your reference is always the job description. Okay. I have the sun kind of in my face here, but okay, I will manage that. The third thing is, okay. Now we go back to the experience here. Not go back, we go to the experience part. And I'm going to take this job here, Candice, that you had at Avon. Sorry if the pronunciation is not correct. Look, I noticed that you stayed in this job. You have been, actually, you're still there, right? In this job since 2014. So almost 10 years, 9 years, almost 9 years in the job. So a long time. When I saw that, I was like, did she had different job titles? Did she got internal promotion in the company or not? This was not clear to me. And then when I was reading it, I found this phrase here: previously held the titles of associate manager and assistant manager. Look, if you had internal promotion in the company, if you started in a lower level, then you got promoted to a management position, to a different position, you do want to highlight that as clear as possible in your resume, Candice, and everyone else watching, because when you are promoted within the company, it tells only good things about you, that they like your performance, that you're doing things well, that you are used to the company's culture and all of that. So there are only benefits of being promoted within the company. You want to highlight that in a clear way, not only in the end of the first paragraph. I almost didn't see that. So make sure you make more clear on a, like you see the job title here, the dates, and then you see already that, oh, she had 3 different positions in the same company. This is extremely positive, and you want to make sure you highlight that. So make it more explicit every time you had internal promotions in the company, because that speaks good stuff about you. Okay, Candice, I know you're live, so let me know if those comments were valid, if they were helpful, if you could learn something new, and if you feel ready to improve that. Let me see the comments here. Oh, she said you said it right. Nice. So I hope it was helpful. Again, I know I'm being very strict with my comments, but I think that's the way we learn. So I'm not here to just say, oh, your resume is amazing, all of that, because if you share the resumes, because you probably are not getting the results you want, right? That's why you wanted my feedback. And also, I want to take this opportunity to teach everyone who is watching live about best practices related to resume writing. So I'm going to find something that I can share, even if it's a very small detail, but my intention here is really to help you to improve the way you write your resume and down the road land the remote job that you want. That's my purpose here. That's actually the purpose of all my content and my services, is to help you to land a remote job. So Candice said definitely help. I'm really glad to read that. Amazing to have you live. That was nice. You're asking, should I remove the expertise section or tailor it to the specific job posting? You can tailor it, but maybe instead of just saying product management, for example, you add something else. You give some context. You give a little bit more of information. So you can do both things. You tailor it to the position, and you also add a bit more information to give some context and add a bit more value. Okay. Nice to have you live. Thanks for being here. Nice. It was helpful. Someone also asked here in the chat, I don't see the name, apologies. I just see as LinkedIn user. So I think it's because we are not connected. But someone wrote here in the chat, I have one resume specifically for the ATS, and then I have a pretty resume that I attach as additional documents. I cannot see your name, but this is a good strategy. So let me explain to everybody. If you have a more beautiful resume with like colors, photos, columns, and all of that, you can use that if you're sending it directly to someone. If the recruiter says, can you send your resume via email? Send a beautiful one. If you're chatting with the person on LinkedIn, you're going to send it via LinkedIn chat. You can send a beautiful one, a pretty one, right? As this person mentioned. If you're going to apply through the company's web page, any kind of remote job board, or through LinkedIn, then I don't recommend that you use the pretty one. Go for a boring, basic Word or PDF document without colors, without columns, without photos, go for the basic. But if you have a more pretty one, like this person mentioned, you can use it to send via email to someone or via chat and send directly to the person. Okay. All right. Who is ready for? I think it's the fourth resume, right? Yeah, the fourth resume. Who is ready for that? Let me know, or if you had enough, then I can stop. But I'm here ready. I'm here ready, and also I'm ready to welcome you in my VIP Telegram group. As I mentioned before, I have exclusive material, discounts, information, activities happening only on the Telegram group. So if I were you, I would just go there. It's free, so there is nothing much to lose, and you're gonna gain a lot of things. So I definitely take care of the group, and I share exclusive information, materials, activities there. And I'm organizing something very interesting that I will not talk about here because it's a topic for the Telegram group, the VIP Telegram group. So just grab your phone, scan this QR code, and I'll see you in the Telegram group. And then I see everyone is ready here. Matthew, Christiane, Candice. Okay, so enough about the VIP Telegram group. Let me get ready for fourth resume. It's from Kiran Bala. Kiran, are you here in the room? Let me know. Kiran Bala. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing the name properly. Yeah, it's hard because we have people from all over the world, so I'm never sure if my pronunciation is correct. Kiran Bala from India. Kiran, if you are here watching live, please say hi in the chat. I would love to feel your energy and to know that I'm like talking to you directly, but you can also be watching the recording. That's perfectly fine. But just say hi if you're here. Kiran, okay? Kiran Bala. Let me see what I will share about Kiran. Check my notes here. Got it. Got it. So I will scroll down a little bit Kiran's resume so you can see that. This is the first page, okay? So we have like 3 different job titles, areas of interest. So we have this part. Then we have what Kiran called professional summary, all those bullet points. Then we have skill set, a lot of things listed here. And then we start the Kiran said career counter, like the experience part, right? The details about the job itself. But if you pay attention here, Kiran, almost half, maybe even a bit more of the first page of your resume, you listed a lot of things here, right? A lot. There is a lot of information here. All of that is all before you start talking about your work experience. Some things here are very well written. I was reading all of that, so some ideas are like powerful or interesting. They show, they give like quite good idea about what you did. But here comes the comment, Kiran. You want to make sure that everything you mention in your resume is directly relevant to the job you're applying for. Okay, your resume, the content of your resume needs to match the requirements of the job description. The perception I had is that you listed pretty much everything that you can do regarding human resource management, operational efficiency, training and development. And this is not what I want to see as a recruiter in a resume. I want to see like, I have this requirement in the job description. Do you have experience on it? Then you talk to me about it. I'm looking for this other requirement, skill, experience. Do you have that? Then you mention that on your resume and there is another match. When you just list everything here, it's a lot of text. It gets very dense. It gets a bit heavy to read. It makes me feel a bit lazy to read. And when I'm saying lazy, it's not that I'm a lazy person in general. It's just like recruiters are very busy. So we need to put ourselves into the recruiter's shoes and make the text as easy, as smooth to read as possible. So this is very dense here. And by dense, I mean like a lot of information, like all of that. So, and it is well written. It is interesting. I'm also from HR, so it was nice. Some all very familiar in all of that. But you want to narrow down the information that you mentioned to the requirements in the job description. So you can probably shorten up these to half of the text or even 1/3 of the text of what you wrote. Okay. So make it more relevant, especially if you're talking about the first half of the first page of your resume, because it's a very strategic part of the resume. As I mentioned before, I don't know if someone is going to scroll down the resume and read this, the last thing you wrote. Might happen or might not happen. But the first page, especially the top part of the first page, is very strategic. It is a very expensive area, let's say, in your resume. So you want to make sure that you mention the most relevant information on it. All right, Kira. What else? The experience part. Okay. Look at this. This is the career contour, the experience part, right? So Kira mentioned several bullet points. Can be less. Okay, this is also very, very long, and then key deliverables can be marked, condense the information. But I will pick up this one, the second one. Led, mark it properly like this. Yes, led a training team of over 100 employees in a hostile. I don't even know how to say this word. Very hard words to pronounce. Environment for 15 months, effectively enhancing their skills and operational readiness. When you talk about leading a training team, I am understanding, Kieran, that you are applying for a position that is related to giving training, right? That's why you are mentioning this bullet point. So everything that goes in your resume should be relevant to the job you're applying for. So if you're applying for a training position and you mentioned that you gave training to the team, go some steps further and share more details about it. So you shared 100 employees. That's nice. I like that. That's very visual. Can you imagine like a big group, 100 people all together, like a big room? You are training them. I like it. It's visual. I can understand the complexity of what you did. You also mentioned 15 months. Nice. You put like a timeline, also helps you do that. But what else can you add here? Maybe the kind of training that you're providing training for, right? It specifies some of the trainings. And when you said effectively enhancing their skills and operational readiness, how can you measure that? How do you know that you are enhancing their skills? Their performance improved by 20% in the next month after the training. Their managers reported that the overall performance of the team increased by 50% after they started implementing the content of the training. Be more specific, because when you just said effectively enhancing their skills, how do you know that? How can you demonstrate that? So don't worry too much about mention everything, but the things you pick up to mention, you go deeper and you share examples, numbers that demonstrate that you did what you said you did. Okay, kids. So go deeper into whatever is relevant for the job description. And then, okay. Then this part here, I don't know if you'll be able to see. I hope you do, but this part here that I'm going to highlight now, this part here, it is inside a gray box. It's like a gray rectangular. I think we have, let me see if I have another example here. Here also. This part here, the human resource management, operational efficiency, and training and development is like a box. What is the name of that? Text box, I think. That is a dark blue, right? This thing here, this text here is inside a text box that is in gray. So here the same thing. Avoid using that for the reason that I mentioned before. Some of the ATS, some of the applicant tracking systems, they will not read a text that has a gray background or any kind of background, dark blue background. So it's better that you write in black on a white paper. That's it. Don't overcomplicate. Keep it simple, because again, content over layout. So, I'm going to put a text box in gray because it looks fancy. It's not about looking fancy. It's about the content, what you write and how you write, and how aligned it is with the job description and the company's expectation, what they're looking for that position. So keep it simple here. Okay, you don't need that many colors and text box and all of that. Stick to the content, and the more relevant and the more narrow down to what they're looking for in the job description, the better. It doesn't need to be too much. Too much gets like noise, heavy, a bit tiring to read. Less is more when it comes to resume. The more like sharp, aligned to what you're looking for, the more your resume speaks directly to the requirements of the job description, the better. Okay, that's it. What I wrote about Kieran's resume. So Kieran, are you there? Are you live or not? If you are, please say hi in the chat. Cristina Leal. ¿Cómo estás? Nice to see some familiar faces here. That's amazing. Let me see. So Kieran, if you're here, just say hi in the chat for me to know it. Hi down. Nice to see you here, Claudia. Hey, Claudia. Tudo bom? Network is terrible. Oh, I'm sorry if that network is terrible. There is a recorded version. The recorded version will be available in my YouTube channel. So I will share in the chat also the link to it. So apologies if internet is not working properly. Really sorry about that. Adrienne is asking, I have about 12, 15 bullet points listed for my 2 positions. Wait, Claudia. Is that too many? Yes, 12, 15 is too many bullet points. You can have less. Is there a certain suggested numbers? I think with 5 or 6, you're fine. And I would say go for achievements instead of description. Instead of listing all the tasks you did, go for achievements, specific examples with numbers and percentage if possible. What you did, for whom, how the impact, and always tailoring that to the requirements in the job description. So instead of 12, 15, go for 5 or 6 that clearly demonstrate that you have the skills, the profile you're looking for in the job description. Okay. We are almost 1 hour here live. I have actually 2 more resumes, but I don't think I'm going to have time for 2 more. Can I do 1 more resume? I get excited here. So let me know if that's okay, if that's enough, or if you're still available and interested in 1 more resume writing. Yeah, I prepared way too many. Time is not enough, but at least 1 more. So let me know if you want me to review 1 more resume. Let me know in the chat, or we can also finish here. That's also fine. Maybe you got already what you were looking for in this live. So let me know in the chat if I should go for 1 more or not. And once again, scan the QR code. Let's meet in my VIP Telegram group to keep the conversation going, gifts for you, exclusive material, discounts, and things that I talk only on the group, because I don't have time here, as you can see. So in the Telegram group, we have more time for other topics also related to remote jobs. Okay, people are saying let's go for 1 more. All right, if you ask for that, I will do it. So let me get the next resume. Okay. All right, so Rayleigh Granger. Sorry again if my pronunciation is not correct. So let me remove this and let me go for the last resume. Rayleigh Granger, I think that's the pronunciation. Here we go. Rayleigh Granger. Sorry again if I'm not saying it in the right way, the proper way, but the intention is good. Okay, Rayleigh, are you there? Are you live? Let me know, say hi in the chat. Link to the Telegram group. Dominique, I share the QR code. Okay, so I'll share it again later. So you just scan the code and you go directly to it. Okay, Rayleigh Granger, are you here? Are you live? Let me know, because I'm going to review your resume right now. So let me see what I wrote here. All right, we're going to start with the skills part. So you see that I'm trying to pick different aspects from different resumes so I can touch a lot of things instead of repeating the same thing. So in this case, for Rayleigh, right, I'm going to start talking about the skills part. So she wrote the skills part. She wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different skills, right? Photography and Adobe Creative Suite, creative content management, teaching, support, sales, all of that. Okay. The problem here, Rayleigh, is that you mentioned this percentage here, 90%. 85, very specific, right? 82%. How did you come up with 82%? Like, who said that you have 82% of teaching and support? How did you measure that, really? It's a random number, I'm assuming, right? And also, like, what does it actually mean when you say, I have 82% of teaching and support skills? I don't get it. It's not clear, okay? So 88% of communication specialists. I don't know what you're talking about. Is it advanced? Is it intermediate? Like, also the colors, like the yellow until here means 88. It's not clear. And remember what I said before about the ATS system. This thing, 90% of the colors will probably not be written well, be understood by a software, by a robot. Me as a human, I'm not understanding. Imagine a robot. 82% of teaching and support. What does it mean? So keep things simple. This percentage here is a random number that you just came up, I don't know how, but it's not very clear. So we want to make sure that everything on the resume is clear, because I mean, at the end of the day, what you write on the resume is the message you want to share to the company, to the recruiter. So the more clear it is, the better. So don't go for 2 colors and then 90%, 82%, 88, because it seems very specific, but it's not. Like, I still don't really know what 88% of communication specialists mean. So try to use a more clear and straightforward language. Okay. What else? Okay. Look, let me start from the beginning. This is the first page of Rayleigh. Rayleigh, if you're here, please say hi in the chat. This is the first page of Rayleigh's resume. Then we go to the second page, selected highlights. It's a full page with almost full page, sorry. Then we have the core competences, additional credits. And then the third page, this is the one I want to talk about. Detailed job descriptions. All right. A resume is not a job description. 2 different things here. Okay. Job description is the thing that the company, the document, the information that the company shares, listing the tasks, the requirements, the kind of person they are looking for, the kind of problems you're going to share, you're going to solve in the company. So the job description belongs to the company, not to you as a job seeker. You have a resume, and you're going to summarize in your resume your skills, your experience, whatever you have to share that is relevant for the job. But there is no point in add a detailed job description. This is from the company side. You don't want to, nobody wants your attention to everybody. This is very important. And it's kind of a common mistake also. You don't want to make your resume looks like a job description, listing a lot of things like this and this, and it's not the point. You want to make it clearly demonstrate that you have the skills and the requirements that the job description from the company is looking for. But there is no point of adding a detailed job description in your resume. It's a resume, it's not a job description, okay? I don't know if you wanted to say something else, but that's what is written, detailed job description. And what I can tell you, Ray, is that job description is a document that it will be provided from the company side. It has nothing to do with your resume. I mean, of course, it has to do, because it's a reference for you to understand what is relevant to mention, but it's not a job description. So we need to differentiate that, because otherwise we think like, I need to list everything that I did in the job. I need to share all the details. I need to cover every task that I did. And no. You're going to narrow down to the more relevant information for the job you're applying for. You did all those things here that I'm highlighting, and you did much more. I know that, right? Because you have been in this job since 2018, so quite a long time. But you don't need to list everything. You're going to list only the things that are relevant to the job that you're applying for. So don't be misunderstood. Don't make any confusion with the job description. Job description is the document that the company provide with the requirement, the skills, the skill set, right? The kind of person they are looking for. And your resume is a summarized version of all your work experience and skills to show to the company and say, hey, interview me, I'll tell you more about it. So it's not detailed job description. There is no need to do that. Okay, Rayleigh? And then, okay. Going back to page 1. Sorry that I'm going back and forth, but I need to show you this part here. Brief timeline. When I saw that, I was like, I'm not understanding that brief timeline, because initially I thought this is very short, right? That this one bullet point only with a very short description. When I read this brief timeline, I thought that's very short, right? Here again, just one bullet point. But then I saw the selected highlights, and then we have another half page here. And then I saw the detailed job description. I was like, okay, now it's too much information. And then we go to the 4th page, right? So this resume has 4 pages. Very long, as I said before. I would recommend that you stick to 2 pages. So you don't need to have a detailed job description plus a brief timeline. Go for something that fits in 2 pages, really, and choose the information, only the information that is relevant to that specific job you are applying for. You don't need to list everything. So a resume is not the detailed job description, and the resume is not the full history of everything that you did professionally. The resume is a summarize, the most relevant information, the highlights for that specific job that you're applying for. So by doing that, you go from 4 pages to 2 pages, and everything that is written on the resume is more relevant to the recruiter that is reading that. Okay. I hope it was helpful. Rafa, hello. Nice to have you here. So Rayleigh, I don't know if you're here or if you're going to watch this live, but I hope the information I shared was helpful to you. I'm going to stop sharing now. And Dominic asked for the link to the Telegram group, so let me share that again here. Dominic, please grab your phone and scan that with your camera. And we are going towards the end of the live. More than 1 hour already, so thank you for being here with me. Thanks for watching that until now. And I would love to read in the comments one takeaway that you are taking from this session. Claudia, thanks for having you here. Always nice to see you again. So let me know in the chat one takeaway, one thing that you learned here in this session that you're going to be able to implement in your resume. So it doesn't matter if I was evaluating your resume live or not. As I said, I try to make my teaching here relevant to everyone that is watching. So I would love to see at least one thing that you learned that you will be able to implement in your own resume. So please share in the chat. I will be happy to read that. One takeaway, one thing that you learned. If you are here until the end, I mean, I'm assuming it was worthy, right? Your time. I just want to make sure my time was also worthy. So please send me some feedback to see what you got, what you learned, and then I can also understand what was more relevant and use that to create more lives about those topics, because I understand that's something that you're interested, something that you are in need of more. So let me see. Claudia shared a summary more information, and reduce the CV from 3 to 2 pages. Amazing, Claudia. Yeah, narrow down 2 pages is a very good size of resume. Milad said not adding colored boxes. Exactly, neither using color. Very good. You got it very right. It's going to look less beautiful, less colorful, less modern. I get it. But what you want, Milad, is to have your resume moving forward in the process and getting you a job interview. So it's not about being colorful and beautiful. It's about having the right information written in the right way so you get the invitation for the interview. This is the purpose of the resume. The resume is there to get you a job interview. It's not there to be beautiful, colorful, and all of that. If it works, black and white, PDF or Word, perfectly fine. Stacy said, thank you for the tip. The thing that jumped out to me was to add more details about things I have achieved. Amazing, Stacy. And to add numbers and percentages. I know that it's not always easy to have numbers and percentages especially if you're talking about like a job you did 5 years ago. You might not have this data. So I know it's hard, but try to remember. You can use like approximately 20%, around 100 people, over 2,000 sections. You know, if you don't have the precise number, you can use about, around, over. But it's always good to add numbers and percentage. Oscar said, hi, Oscar. Mil gracias, Juliana. Saludos desde Colombia. Nice to see you here, Oscar. Claudia also said, adapt the tasks of previous jobs to the specific job I will apply for. And not all the tasks I had exactly. So forget about making your resume looks like a job description. It's not a job description. It's still a resume, and you're going to narrow down the information. You're going to target the things that speaks directly to the job description requirements. Very good, very good. Matt said the difference between an ATS resume and a direct connection resume, or to bring with you during the interview. Exactly. So if you're going to send your resume to someone specifically via email or on a LinkedIn chat, you can use the fancy one, the colorful one, the one with columns and all of that. But if you're going to apply through LinkedIn, through the company's career page, the company's website, or any kind of remote job board, go to the one that is more ATS friendly. In other ways, the boring one. Volumes, no color, no photos, no box with like text box with colors. Just go for the regular one, normal one, with well-written and relevant content for that specific job. Okay. All right. So thank you once again for staying here with me. Impressive. 1 hour, 50 minutes. So well done to you who was here live with me. Well done to you who was watching the recording. I really appreciate that. Keep an eye on future lives. I hope I meet you also on the VIP Telegram group to share more information, more content, and to keep helping you to land the remote job that you want. Okay. I'm Juliana Rabbi, career coach for remote jobs. Thank you for being here. Thanks for your good energy, and I hope you could learn from me. Take care. I'll see you in the next live. Take care. Bye.